not locate the server. Anyway, you can go on there and see which schools have degree programs, although not all of them are on there, because you have to tell them you want to be on there. So University of Rhode Island is there, but there are schools like the University of Minnesota, a huge place to get degrees that's not listed. So if you're interested, you can go on and click on the programs and see what kinds of offerings they have. And you can also go to conferences and meet professors. We often, at Costume Society of America, there are some regional conferences here, so it's not hugely expensive to go. If you're really shopping a PhD program, you can, or even a master's program, you can go to these conferences and meet the professors. Often the graduate directors of the programs are there. They're interested in meeting you. And even at one meeting, one of our graduate students was offered an assistantship on the spot because they had an available assistantship for which she had the expertise. So that was an interesting conference for her. She didn't realize how fruitful that would be. Okay, this is not going to come up, but a case study of a student of ours, undergraduate student who went on for a PhD.
Are you connected to the internet? You may have to go back in and...
Often in this room, though, there's not enough.
Is anyone else getting a connection? No one wants to admit that they actually have a connection, a wireless connection. You have a wireless connection? Yeah. Allison has a wireless connection, so you should. You're not connected.
It's not connected.
Here, you may do it.
I can do it. It's supposed to be this.
That's the
Ethernet? Yeah. So Emily graduated not that long ago from here. And she studied abroad in Florence. Actually had Thanksgiving dinner with her in Florence because I was looking at programs in Florence at the time. But she participated in Spring Splash and was very interested in the design component of the program. So she went to school in London.
She did an honors program and an honors project that involved designing clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definite interest in design. So she'd be an example of a person who was looking for more in the fashion design area. So this is her master's, you'd say the master's thesis program, her collection that she's showing. You can see a British landscape in the background because she's in London at the London College of Fashion. And so she has a whole design thesis that she did for this. And it's explained here. And she's just finishing now, so we don't know what her postgraduate life will be like.
She's one of those people who ended up with a non-supportive professor mentor. So she's been working out those conflicts. Yeah.
Okay. Hard to check if it's England before that. Okay, here's another person. This is Katie Baker. We got married after she left here, so she's now Katie Baker Jones. She came from University of Missouri and got her master's degree here. Then she went to teach at an institute in Kansas for a couple of years while her husband went on to graduate school. So she's now a second-year PhD candidate at University of Missouri, Columbia. And she's and they really groom you there for the several kinds of courses that you could teach when you graduate. She was at the conference we went to last November presenting. It's kind of interesting to see what experiences she's had since here and what she used as her experiences here on her resume. So her goal is to be a professor. And she can teach costume history because she specialized in costume here at URI. And her master's thesis was on what female politicians and heads of state wear that represents their country. So politics and dress. Now she's looking more at sustainability and global markets. She's a TA at University of Missouri, so her advanced degree is supported. But she also talks about what she did at URI. She worked with the COPA, the Pattern Archives. She also worked for me on a grant at one point. So this is how you explain what you did in a resume. Every experience is useful. You know, our third person is the most advanced in her career. She's finishing this semester. She's another. Anyway, she is graduating from Oregon State University, and she's been there for just 3 years, so she has very carefully used her time there, not dragged her feet and got too bogged down in the research and writing. But she got her bachelor's degree at Johnson & Wales. She's from the Providence area in retail, and worked in retailing while she was in school. Then she came here and looked at worked in the historic area, but also was a TA for the merchandising professor. And then when she went on for a PhD, she got an assistantship and started presenting at conferences right away. It was really clear that she wanted to start doing teaching as a full-time thing right after she graduated. So in the fall, she started sending out her resumes, and she got interviews at 4 universities, which is a really good thing. 4 schools were interested in her. Ryerson in Canada, San Francisco State, University of Wyoming, and Framingham State. And she got a job offer from San Francisco, which is the one that she wanted.
I didn't know that.
So a success story there. All right, so if you're thinking about fashion design, there are some schools abroad. So I know that a lot of you have gone abroad and you would love to go abroad again. So there's London College of Fashion. Accademia Italiana has a graduate program where you get a master's in fashion design. Of course, one of the best schools in the world is Central St. Martin's, so you may have to take more technical courses and just be obsessed about fashion design to go there, because you're competing with the best people in the world. But it's likely you'd work as a fashion designer if you left there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to 2 of our current graduate students, so we're going to talk a little bit about their experience. So first is Sarah Lockram.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sarah Lockram, and I'm in my 2nd year, last semester in the grad program here. So today I will give you a little bit about my background, where I came from, why I chose grad school, why I chose URI, and then the internship that I had last summer. I will discuss my thesis research and plans for after. So I was born and raised in California, and so URI seemed like a far choice for my friends and family. But I graduated from Cal State Long Beach in 2009 with my bachelor's in fashion merchandising, I also had a minor in marketing and textiles. I worked at Express, doing retail, trying to pay through college. My last semester of undergrad, I got an internship at the Juicy Couture showroom in downtown LA. And that was January through May 2009. And I have some pictures later on to show you, but I helped them enter in orders. I helped during market by showing the line and keeping the line organized, unpacking boxes, the normal intern stuff. Got to meet some of the buyers. The California showrooms mostly handled the specialty store accounts, so I didn't work with the department stores there, just specialty stores in the region. After graduation, I got a job at a showroom in downtown LA, and I was there from May 2009 to November of that year. And then after that, due to the economy, things didn't work out so well. But after that, I started working at Michael Stars. It's a family-owned California couture clothing company. I worked there in LA and in Newport Beach, doing retail, hoping to advance with the company. I really wanted to be assistant manager and manager, and their corporate office is located in Hawthorne, California, which is part of LA, and I was hoping to advance to there, but that didn't work out, for good reason though. So these are some pictures from my internship at Juicy. It was just kind of like a big Juicy store, pink everywhere. I graduated May 2009, and like you, I thought I was done. Well, some of you, I thought I was done with school. I didn't think I was going to go on and get a master's. Never saw that in my future. I thought I was going to get a job right away and be successful right away, but successful in other ways, I'd say. So here are some pictures from Michael Stars in California. But why did I choose grad school? I just felt like I needed more. I had a bachelor's degree, and most of my friends had bachelor's degrees too, and I just felt like I needed something to put me above the competition. There wasn't room for growth in my current position. There weren't corporate jobs that were available. And my parents, having 5 combined master's degrees, I felt like I needed just at least one. And how did I choose URI? Well, I have a lot of family here. I have aunts in Providence and cousins all around the state. My grandparents were here, and I came here every summer, and summer 2010, I didn't want to leave, but it was summer. I had never experienced a winter in New England, so that's been a bit of a shock. I Googled fashion merchandising programs, and this one popped up. I researched the program, and I looked at the undergrad classes that were available, and a lot of them were similar to the ones that I took in undergrad. Same books, similar syllabi, and I felt like it was a good fit. But I had not visited the school yet. So next, I wrote my personal statement, got letters of recommendation from 2 of my professors at Long Beach. One was my advisor, and then one was a professor that I had done a major paper with. I requested my undergrad transcripts, took a GRE prep class, and then passed the GRE, luckily. And then I received my acceptance letter for fall 2011. And then I drove across the country with my mom. If you ever need a good mother-daughter bonding experience, drive across the country with your mom. It was pretty fun, actually. So my first visit was in August, middle of August 2011. Hadn't visited the school yet, but I met with Dr. O to discuss the program, because I think Dr. Welters, he was still on sabbatical. So we talked about the different programs and which direction I should take, and I looked at the classes that were offered, and met with other faculty, and then I came back and met with Dr. Welters to determine what classes to register for. So fall 2011, I took a class with Dr. Welters, and one of our assignments was to write a review of an exhibit, and I wrote about a wedding dress collection at Rosecliff called "And the Bride Wore Wedding Dresses from the Collection." And that was chosen to be published in the Costume Society of America newsletter, which I was pretty excited about, my first semester in grad school, and already was able to get a publication. And here's a little snapshot of it. And then that winter, I went on the Europe study tour with my friend Megan over there and Dr. Welters, and that was an amazing opportunity. We went to London, Paris. How many of you went this past winter? Good, yeah, it was really fun. It was one of the best experiences of my life, and that's when I realized I wanted to work with European luxury companies. I love that. Then May 2012, Megan and I and a couple other students presented to the MFA in Boston at the CSA conference. No, it's good. Well, there were bright lights, yeah. Then summer 2012, Dr. Welters put me in contact with someone at Christian Louboutin, and I went down and interviewed for that internship, and I was given it, and I moved to New York from May 2012 through August 2012, and I worked with the wholesale department, their U.S. sales manager, and their sales executive. It was really small. It was just the three of us every day, and we handled the big accounts like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bergdorf, and Barney's, and then Holt Renfrew, which is in Canada. So some of the things I did every day, and it was a full-time job, over 40 hours a week all summer. So there were 2 markets over summer, which is when the buyers would come to see the new collections. So I assisted before, during, and after market. I would unpack the new collection, make sure all the samples arrived in good condition. I would help set up the showroom in between each appointment. I entered in orders and made sure they were done correctly. Every Monday, the assistant buyers for the department stores would send us their weekly selling reports from the previous week, and I would pull numbers from what we sold and put them in our own spreadsheets to analyze what's been selling and what hasn't been selling. I assisted in analyzing distribution and competition, so they would have me, we went to we did a presentation at Saks Fifth Avenue one day for the fall, this past fall collection, and while they were in a meeting with the buyers, they had me go down to the men's department, and I was like secretly taking pictures for them to analyze the men's competition, because we don't have an account, or Christian Louboutin doesn't have an account at Saks Fifth Avenue. And then I was the liaison between the stores and the repairs department. So if a store had a shoe that had a missing rhinestone or a stud, or if a customer complained that they had a missing or a broken heel, they would contact me, and then I would email the warehouse in Paris and try and get the parts sent to us. And then I would send them to the clients. And then I would also help prepare product training clinics and trunk shows. I would make PowerPoint presentations for the new shoe collections and the new bag collections that would be sent to the department stores. Oh, and then when things got crazy, we would just say this over and over again. Then, when I came back in fall 2012, I got started on working on my thesis research, and Dr. Liu is my advisor, and I had weekly meetings with him to discuss my proposal. So all last semester, I worked on my thesis proposal, and as I said, I realized I was interested in the luxury industry, and based on my experience, I decided to compare the financial performances of luxury apparel companies and mass apparel companies. And my working title right now of my thesis is the impacts of the financial crisis on luxury and mass apparel companies during the financial crisis from 2008 to 2011. So it's very numbers-based, quantitative research, and Megan's, you'll hear, is more qualitative research. So I took a basic stats class a year ago, and then a more advanced stats class this past fall to learn how to do the statistical tests I needed for this thesis. And it's coming along. It's in its final stages right now, final revisions, almost there, keeping my fingers crossed. I'll be doing that all spring break.